What's up, all war gamers, history buffs, and everybody in between? Josh for 6 Up Tabletop here. Did another unit model review for Black Powder, Epic Battles Waterloo. Looking at the 95th rifles. We're taking a look at the models, talking a little bit about experience painting them, and then talk about a little bit about how they are in Black Powder and other games. Alright, let's take a look at the sprues. So the first sprue we're taking a look at is just the British Infantry sprue. I got mine out of the large British starter box, and on the sprue there's just two 95th rifles in line, and those are just at the top. No real issues with the sprue. Mold lines were pretty clean. Bayonets were all in place for mine, so no issues there. And how those look on when painted and stuff with those poses. Let's take a look at the other sprue. Alright, so for the other sprue, this is the sprue from one of the quote-unquote like expansion sets. This is the Highlanders and Riflemen sprue. So as you can see here, it comes with 8 riflemen, all different poses. Let's see if it will gather that. Yeah. So we got a couple of kneeling, reloading, shooting, and somebody giving orders. So that's good. And here's a little bit of example of how they would look. And that's from that sprue. So these are just individuals meant to be deployed in small detachments, or if your detachment breaks up in like a skirmish order, you can use them to represent different companies. So in terms of painting and modeling options, I think this was definitely one of the easier kits in the box. The rifles lined up in line now, that would be accurate to what was at Waterloo, so that's the decision with why they went deploying them in line, and then Warlord Games creating the 95th rifles in line. I know that was a big complaint, or a perceived complaint, from the community when this first was announced. Many wanted, as they are skirmishers and riflemen, to have them kind of be what they did with the expansion in the rifles kit, just having them loose so you can have them in different formations. So it is interesting to paint them up, but it was very, very easy paint job. Like only a handful of colors were used. I didn't have any variation or anything on the pants. I just specifically painted green and then sergeant with the red sash. I used a little bit lighter color green for the palms on top, but that's just a hobby thing, so you can see them on the field. When you have them on the table, they poke out a little bit. I'm a big fan of, I feel like there's a lot more, not a lot more, but I feel like a little bit more character in some of the models of the riflemen compared to like a standard British line infantry. I have them split up 8 of these skirmishers on just like small bases. I'm going to have them just be small detached companies skirmishing. So this one particularly is one of my favorites. Just on his knee reloading while the other guys firing behind him. That's cool to see that, and that fits traditionally with how they would move up in front of the lines and skirmish or defend the positions. I think so this main line battalion that I have is also broken up into how I did it standard. I would have 3 bases. One base I have split in half, and the unit split in half, because they do have the ability to form squares. So I wanted to make sure that I had that opportunity available to that unit. They do have bayonets, and they can be formed in squares. So I still think that would look pretty good on the table. yeah, I mean, it is great that they did make this kit. Everybody would be expecting it, as the 95th rifles are a very popular regiment in the British Army at that time, and even prior up to then. Just interesting thinking historically of utilizing more riflemen within a whole battalion, and just having them take more command, more initiative than the line troops. I know a lot of games like Black Powder and Valor of Fortitude give them that sort of rules, with giving them rules that allow them to hit better or reroll certain dice and all that sort of good stuff. And I think that is represented well in many games to show that while they might not be firing as quickly, the rifling certainly had an effect in terms of accuracy, and many games give them a little bit improved range. But overall, I think the line infantry version of this, with the riflemen represented in line, is a really excellent kit from Warlord Games. Yeah, I think it's quite easy to paint up. I think it looks really nice on the table. I have no complaints about how these specific units look. The only real thing I have a note on would be from the other kit. Some of the, so like, here's an example. Some of the guns on like the models taking a knee, just on how they're printed. So this isn't like specific to this kit. It's just printing these epic models in general. Tend to be a little bit larger. Like, yeah, this is probably the best example on one of them. You can see how because of how they had to press the templates together, how wide this gun is when you look at it from the side. But on the front, you know, it looks good. But when you look at it from the side, it's like, I mean, in person, it would look like it'd be a huge blunderbuss, but it's a rifle. So a couple of those things in terms of modeling for the individual models. It would have been nice to see if somehow they could resolve that, but that's all good. Come to expect some of those things with the epic ranges, and I think just having the models and being able to paint them and have them represent on the table as a nice counterpart to the red of the British, having the black and the greens on the table is a nice change of pace. I remember reading in the epic Waterloo rule book that they had that from afar the dark green would almost look like black, so that there was a nickname, the sweeps. So I'm assuming that has to do with chimney sweepers being covered in coal. So yeah, just an interesting fact that I picked up that stuck with me. I didn't quite represent that on the table, but proud of how these turned out. Excited to get them on the table and see what they can do. Thanks for watching. This is Josh for 6 Up Tabletop, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.